Does anybody know who these individuals are? This is Donald Trump and the late Pope Francis. Now, who is this? This is Barack Obama and Pope Francis. This is Barack Obama and Pope Benedict. This is Pope Benedict and who? Who's that? That's George Bush Jr. Now, who is this? This is Pope Francis and a man by the name of Emmanuel Macron. He is the current president of France. And it's interesting because this man is now being exposed, as they say, because they say that this man is actually married to, well, I'm not going to deal with that in this session. Does anybody know who this is? It's a woman by the name of Angela Merkel. She's the former chancellor of Germany. Anybody know who this is? Man by the name of King Abdullah of Jordan. Anybody know who this is? Man by the name of Paul Kagame, the current president of Rwanda. Anybody know who this is? One of the great boogeymans of the 21st century, Vladimir Putin. Anybody know who this is? This is our current vice president, J.D. Vance. This is Marco Rubio. Some people call him Marco or Narco Rubio. Anybody know who this is? Now, this is Pope Leo the 14th. Now, the question is, what in the world are all of these popes who are supposed to be the representative of Christ? Why are they meeting with all these world leaders? Now, do you think that these popes are sharing the unadulterated gospel of Jesus Christ with these politicians? Is that their purpose of this cozy liaison? Now, in Revelation 17 again, what does the Bible say that this Antichrist system is doing with the kings of the earth? They're committing fornication. They're in an unholy liaison. Now, who is leading the relationship? The great whore or the kings of the earth? The great whore. The great whore. Now, anybody know who this man was? We talked about him before. This is a man by the name of Malachi Martin. He was a Jesuit priest who wrote in the 20th century. Notice what this man says. What captures the unwavering attention of secular leaders? Now, are all of these men and women secular leaders? Yes. This sense of the world is this remarkable network of the Roman Catholic what? Is precisely the fact that it places at the disposal of the Pope a supernatural, super-continental, super trade bloc structure that is so built and oriented that if tomorrow or next week, by a sudden miracle, a one world government were established, the church would not have to undergo any essential structural change in order to retain its dominant position and to further its global aims. Notice at the bottom, at his most specific, however, he insists, this is talking about John Paul II, that men have no reliable hope of creating a viable geopolitical system unless it is on the basis of what? Roman Catholic Christianity. So the Catholic Church is telling these secular leaders that if you really want to have a one world government, that it has to be on the basis of Roman Catholic Christianity. Now, is this serious? Does the Bible say the same thing? Yes, it does. All right. Does anybody know who this is? Yes, man by the name of Elon Musk. Let's turn in our Bibles. Let's turn in our Bibles to Revelation, back to Revelation. Notice what the Bible says again in the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 18. Notice the holdings, the assets of this Babylonian system, this great harlot. Revelation chapter 18. We're going to read in verse number 11. The Bible says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and of fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thyine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of the most precious wood, and brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense, and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses, and chariots and slaves and souls of what? So is this horse system, is it very wealthy? It is very wealthy. So in light of that, do you think that the Roman Catholic system, according to Bible prophecy, is going to be controlling the financial markets of the world's global economy? Yes, it is. Now, Elon Musk is a very rich man. Is he very rich? Now, roughly, what is the net worth of Elon Musk? Yes, it's over $400 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Now, is $400 billion a very tremendous amount of money? My goodness, you cannot even spend that amount of money in a lifetime, even if you tried. So Elon Musk, and it's so amazing with all of these very great wealthy men, their public relations teams, they make us believe that they were just regular common people that were just working in their basement, and through hard work and dedication, they became multi-billionaires. Now, is that how it works? No, it's not. This says Musk's response to backlash over a gesture at Trump rally. Now, when you see this gesture, what immediately comes to your imagination? This looks like a Heil Siegel. Now, many people will say, well, this has absolutely nothing to do with fascism. This man was just giving out his heart in adoration and affection to the population that he was addressing. Notice this. Now, when you see this, what comes to your imagination? This is a symbol of the Nazi Party. Do you think that there is any correlation between the fascism of the Nazi Party and the current state of American politics? Oh, yes, there is. Notice this. Again, man by the name of Rodney Atkinson, notice what he says about the relation of fascism. This says the principal element of a fascist system is a system of corporate and collective power. So fascism, by definition, is a fusion of economics with the power of the state. Does that make sense? So in light of that, is the United States a fascist government? Yes, it is. It doesn't matter who is the president. This is a fascist state. This says the trade unionists, bankers, and multinational corporations. Again, man by the name of Anthony C. Sutton, notice what he says about the reality of World War II. Notice. This says this buildup for European war was before and after 1933 was in great part due to what? Wall Street financial assistance. So the question has to be asked, what in the world was Wall Street doing in bolstering Adolf Hitler to power? Now, why is Wall Street in business? Are they in business in order to help the common people of the world's population? Is that why they're in business? Why is Wall Street in business? They're in business to make money. And does war make a lot of money? War makes a tremendous amount of money. Who cares how many hundreds of millions of people have to die? This says in the 1920s to create the German cartel system. This says, whereas this financial and technical assistance is referred to as what? Now, do you accidentally become a billionaire, or do you have to be intentional? You have to be intentional. So when they call it accidental, they're merely gaslighting. This says, or due to the short-sightedness of American business. This says American financiers and industrialists in the parallel example of building the military power of the what? Now, mind you, who was our great enemy during the Cold War? It was the Soviet Union, but we're not told in our history classes that the United States was actually responsible for building up the very enemy that we were fighting later in the future. This says, as we shall see, the pleas of innocence do not accord with the facts. Now, does anybody know who this man is in the middle? I'm going to really try not to rush through this because it's very essential that we understand this. Yes, a man by the name of Henry Ford. Now, why is Henry Ford well known in modern society? Yes, he started the Ford Motor Company. Now, this is actually a picture of Henry Ford receiving something called the Grand Cross of the German Eagle. This was the highest civilian award that was given by the Nazi Party to civilians. So the question is, why was Henry Ford receiving this medal? Notice. This says on December 20th, 1922, the New York Times reported that the automobile manufacturer Henry Ford was financing Adolf Hitler's nationalist and anti-Semitic movements in Munich. Simultaneously, the Berlin newspaper appealed to the American ambassador in Berlin to investigate and halt Henry Ford's intervention into German domestic affairs. You'll actually find out that the real movers and shakers in American foreign and domestic policy are the men and women that have the money. All right, Nazi Germany. Now, Nazi Germany is something called the Third Reich. We talked about this before. Anybody ever heard of the Third Reich? Now, the question is, what was the First Reich? Isn't that a good question? Notice. This says Nazi Germany, officially known as the German Reich or the Third Reich, refers to the German state between 33 and 45. The Third Reich, meaning the Third Realm, referred to the Nazi claim that Nazi Germany was the successor of the Holy Roman Empire. So what was the First Reich? It was the Holy Roman Empire. Now, who was governing the Holy Roman Empire? The Roman Catholic Church. So if the Roman Catholic Church was governing the First Reich, I wonder if they also were governing the Third Reich. Is that a good question? All right, so this is a symbol of the Holy Roman Empire. Notice this. We're not going to spend too much time. It says, and this auto went a second time into Italy in 962. This says to assist the Pope to the utmost of his power when assistance was wanted. Thus, in the year 962 was formed the Holy Roman Empire, the mightiest weapon of the papacy in the Middle Ages. So I wonder if the Nazi regime during the time of World War II was merely just the Catholic desire to once again reestablish the Holy Roman Empire. All right, man by the name of Edmund Paris, notice. This says the public is practically unaware of the overwhelming responsibility carried by the Vatican and its Jesuits in the start of the what? In the start of the two world wars. Now, generally speaking, when we watch documentaries on World War II, are we told about this history? Of course not. We're told that the Vatican was a great safe haven for the Jews. But is that a truthful account of the reality? No, it's not. All right, we're going to skip past this. This is from the Vatican itself. This says, for today, Rome considers the fascist regime to be the nearest to its dogmas and interests. All right, this was a debate that took place about a month and a half ago. A man by the name of Mehdi Hassan, notice this, self-described fascist begs for donations after claiming viral debate got him fired. This man literally went on a public debate and said that he was an open fascist. Do you think that these ideas are now coming into the mainstream? Now, does the Bible say that the Roman Catholic institution is once again going to regain the power that it had during the Dark and Middle Ages? Is this happening? Yes, it is.